New York City, welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. We have the honor of being joined right now
a legend
by an immortal basketball
Icon.
legend, Grant Hill, joining the show. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
I'm really excited as somebody that's competed against you for a long time, consider you a friend, that you're gonna write a book. As somebody that's written a book, I know that it takes you to a place that you didn't realize you were gonna go, because it allows you to recall so many things that you forgot that even took place. So what did you learn about yourself during this journey of writing your book?
I didn't always enjoy the successes I had early in my career. I didn't enjoy my time in Detroit. Not that Detroit was bad. I had great individual success, but we didn't win. And I'm chasing Isaiah. That's who I'm chasing when I'm in Detroit. So because we didn't have that great success, I never celebrated my individual success. And it's funny, man, when I got older, my kids would every once in a while go on YouTube and they would look up stuff and they say, "Dad, man, you weren't always a scrub. You actually could play." And but you forget that, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't appreciate the good moments.
That's really well put. And as someone who's been a fan of yours from the Duke days, but I've always been a fan, for other people like me, what aspects of your life will we be able to experience when we read this book?
You know what? I struggled with confidence. I lacked confidence. I think, and Jalen, you understand this, as a ball player, you put a mask on. You put your armor on when you go to the park, when you go play. Those battles we had, and I was at Duke, I didn't really step into my confidence and my belief probably till my senior year. And at that point, that prepared me for what was next and the expectations that were there in the NBA. Obviously, I grew up, people talk about, there have been documentaries made about how I was brought up. But even with the privileges and the privilege I had, I still, we all have stuff, you know what I'm saying? We all have stuff we deal with. And I get into that. I get, particularly in my early years and finding myself sort of coming of age, and I think basketball played a role in sort of validating and building up that confidence that I lacked at a young age.
And I applaud you for bringing up the documentary, because that taught me a lot about my insecurities and also about my ignorance.
I want to say this too, and I get into it a little bit in the book. And first of all, I say nothing but nice things about you, Jalen.
Thank you, brother. That's mutual.
I don't think, no, but I mean, I don't think people understand the history and even when the documentary came out, and I understood where you were coming from, and I wanted people to talk about it and have a conversation. And I felt like coming out of it, people got on one side or the other. And I question whether that was really healthy or not. But what people don't know is you and I talked about it a couple of days later, and we were good.
Yep.
And so to be able to publicly dispute or squabble or whatever we did, and to talk about it and move on. I remember coming up to your event in Detroit, the bowling event.
Yep.
You and I chopped it up. I'm sitting there, full disclosure, I'm telling Jalen, he and Webb need to patch things up.
Yep.
You got the Duke guy trying to come and talk to them hey,
real talk.
And your mom was, and God bless your mom was there, and your family. And so it's always been a mutual respect, but it's always been competitive. And that's the way it was back then. But we didn't look at y'all the way y'all looked at us. You know what I'm saying? We respected y'all, we were fans of y'all. But of course we knew we had to compete to try to beat you guys, because you guys were a great team for sure.
I want to ask a couple of NBA Finals questions, Grant, because you're a terrific analyst, and as I mentioned, not only a Hall of Famer, but you deserve to be in the top 75 basketball players of all time. I've watched this game, grew up in the game. You definitely deserve that honor, but whenever they come out with a 76, you'll be in there for sure. I have to ask you about this year's NBA Finals. Right now, it's tied 1-1. The Golden State Warriors blitzed the Boston Celtics in the third quarter. What are you seeing from either team, and who do you feel like may ultimately prevail in this series?
Well, first of all, I appreciate those kind words, and you've always, been a fan and advocated for me, so I'm always grateful for that. So I appreciate you for that. Interesting series. You think about it. 2 games in the 8 quarters, Golden State has pretty much dominated those 8 quarters, or at least won those 8 quarters. Boston had a great, fourth quarter in game 1. Boston, they haven't played well at home throughout the playoffs, which is really fascinating. They've done better on the road. Golden State figured some things out. They made them uncomfortable. They got in their space. They forced turnovers. Boston's capable, and certainly we've seen that. But Al Horford, Marcus Smart, of course, Derek White, they weren't able to get off. And I think Golden State said, look, we're going to play straight up Tatum and Brown and have Green and Wiggins guard those guys. And we're not going to let anybody else beat us. So the defense, I think, ratcheted up. I think the overall experience of Golden State, having been here before, you have to still give them the nod. I think Golden State in 6. I think Boston will win another game, but I think Golden State ultimately will prevail. Klay Thompson will play better. He's due for a big game. I think we'll see one here either in games 3 or games 4.
Thank you so much for the time. You can check out Grant's book,
Love
Game and
blessings,
Autobiography, anywhere that
Legend.
books are sold. You're welcome back anytime. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.